Messi Co, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, Suárez on the field, Alex wedding dating, como que ya son win. The trio Fabi singing muchachos, las familias se escuchan los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messi Co. Estate listo pa' Messi Co.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special live edition of Messi Co. Ready for the Inter Miami semifinals in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against Vancouver. But I'm actually here, as always, with Gian and Matt, ready for an exciting preview of what is arguably one of the biggest games in the history of Inter Miami. How are you feeling, boys?
I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I also have to hype myself up because it is a 10:30 p.m. kickoff. So it's like I gotta get the energy up so I can stay awake and watch the whole game.
Yeah,
no, I'm so excited.
Same. I saw your tweet, Matt. Everybody needs a siesta, and I'm definitely gonna take a siesta as soon as this episode's wrapped up. I'm gonna take a nap. It's gonna be late and it's gonna be exciting. And as Ashley was saying right before we went live, it felt like it's been forever. Like we've been waiting for this moment. So I'm excited that it's finally here. And boy, is it gonna be a tough one. So we got a lot to talk about.
Agreed. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough match. I don't know. I'm at least it's on 11:30, right? Let's start there. That's a positive, but still 10:30 is late. But yeah, this match is gonna be difficult. We're playing against a very informed opponent. And the stakes couldn't be higher. They said it's sold out at Vancouver, 53,000 plus. I mean, the last few Inter Miami away matches have been sold out. Obviously, the Messi effect, but these people aren't just coming to see Messi; they're coming to see a team that is, 2 matches away from a final. So everything on the line. Alex, first comment: extremely nervous for tonight. Defense needs to come up big. It's a good place to start. So how are we feeling about the team and what do you think is going to be the key? Like, is it defense? Is it creating offense? Is it just Messi? I mean, sometimes that's just the answer. It's just Messi. But yeah, well, what are some of the key things that we're feeling?
Let me see. So I think the key, I'll start with the key thing first because it's what's most important. I think the key thing, like what Alex says, I think it's our defense. I think our defense I know that our defense has looked the best that it has been probably in our entire history. And it's solely how we've been focusing these last couple games, or I guess you could say for the majority of the season so far. And when you're playing a team like Vancouver, who have been doing very well they've been doing well on both ends, a very balanced team, a team that likes to control possession, likes to play high pressure, high intensity, attacking, kind of an attacking style of play. The defense is going to have to come up pretty big, right? And when we have players like Suárez, who isn't in the best goal scoring form as of late, and we have Messi up top, we can't really essentially play that kind of full force counterattacking style that we want to with, full sprints instead of just like relying on other players like Fafa or whoever's going to be playing tonight. But no, I definitely think that the defense is going to be a very, very big factor, because if we can walk away with a clean sheet away from home, or even just like to concede the minimal amount of goals as possible, I think it's going to be essentially as equal to a win as we possibly can. And how I'm feeling about it, I think I'm feeling pretty good because, like I said, our defense is looking great. And so I'm been feeling pretty good about going into tonight's game just solely on that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not worried about our defense. I'm more worried about our offense more than anything right now. Like, the offense is, we've been able to get results. I think, luckily, a lot of times we've been lucky in some of these games where the opponent has had opportunities. LAFC, for example, in the quarterfinals had plenty of opportunities to beat us and to score, and I think our defense came through really well for us. Ustadi came in clutch for us as well many times. So I think that now you're facing probably your toughest game out of all the games that we've had so far this season, whether in MLS or in Champions Cup. You look at what Inter Miami who they've had to play leading up to this moment: Sporting Kansas City, Cavalier, an LAFC team that didn't look its best, but still gave us a lot of trouble. Now you're facing Vancouver, who's number 1 in Supporters Shield standings right now. They're a team that plays really good away from home. They're yet to lose a game away from home in MLS. I believe they have 2 wins, 2 draws, not a single loss. They went into Mexico City and they tied. They scored 2 goals in Mexico City. They scored 2 goals in Monterrey.
Which is like not supposed to happen.
Yeah,
like that is not supposed. That's not supposed.
And it was a very contentious game too. So
they're playing top tier teams, tougher opponents that we have. They've had a tougher road. I feel like they're more prepped than we are right now, and I just think Inter Miami needs to go in there with a mindset of, scrap everything that we've gone through up so now. This is a new opponent. This is the toughest opponent we've come up to. And this is a totally different animal, and they've got to figure out a way, I think, to just be better on attack, be more creative on attack. I think Mascherano needs to be more cognizant of what's going on in the game and make the appropriate changes. I feel like through some of these games that we've seen leading up to now, he's been too slow to change some things, where we've seen players that maybe didn't work in certain roles. We've seen the attack close in a lot, and some like LAFC maybe closing the middle channels for us, and instead of playing more out wide and taking advantage of that, so I think that for this game, I'm just looking for more from Mascherano, more from these players. Messi is doing what Messi always does. We just need other players to step up. Messi scored the opening goal in Miami against LAFC. He scored the penalty. Other than that, we didn't really see much from other players. So the key to me for this game is attack, Mascherano being better with the strategy, and other players stepping up other than Messi.
Okay, a lot of good points there. I agree. There's something I want to bring up. I'm going to show this comment first because it's going to kind of lead me. I think we'll talk about the lineup in a few minutes, who we think is going to get the start. But I want to talk about the last sentence: attack very weak lately. There's someone who will not be part of this attack for sure, and that's Robert Taylor. And I think we need to take a minute before we go any further to address that. And I mean, for this game in particular, like obviously it's a microcosm. I don't necessarily think or know if he would have been the biggest difference maker, right, in this match. But Robert Taylor was there since, for a very long time. Most appearances for Inter Miami, was part of, in the first summer Messi came, some of those amazing, like viral moments, some great goals, great assists. I think we all agree that the play has fallen off a little bit, could be due to tactics, personnel, a lot of different things. I think we expected a move in during the off season, but it happened now. $750,000, a lot of money for it, and general allocation money. Wish him nothing but the best in Austin. But now for this attack that was already, somewhat struggling, and not somewhat, has been struggling for Inter Miami. Now you have even, I'd say, less, options later in the game. And so, question number one, if you have anything or kind of want to give your thoughts and comments on Robert Taylor. And then two, do we think it's going to affect the attack, or do we think other players are going to step up? How are they going to kind of figure that out?
I understand why Robert Taylor was moved off. He just wasn't really, I think, in Mascherano's plan, obviously. I think he maybe played 3 games or so far this season, along with Gressel, obviously, someone we may speak about. But for me, I think one of the tough things for Robert Taylor is I really saw a need for his skill set. I don't think we have too many players with his skill set. We talk about speed, sometimes needing speed on this team. I don't think we had that speed that maybe we needed sometimes on attack, especially where, I'm not advocating that maybe Robert Taylor needed to start every game, but I did feel that there were games where the offense seemed stale, where playing down the middle didn't work, and where we needed more presence on the outside, on the wings. We needed speed. We needed a player that can maybe take 1 or 2 guys to kind of open up space for others. And I think Robert Taylor did that very well last season. He's one of the only type of players, other than maybe Afonso, who also doesn't get really a lot of minutes, Fafa, maybe. I mean, Fafa's got the speed. I just don't know if he has a creative game and being able to, out dribble and that sort of thing. So I thought that was strange, that maybe he wasn't used as much for Mascherano. I wish he was. His skill set may have been of use in this game too, just to kind of open things up, 60th, 70th minute, just to change things up. But unfortunately, we don't have him anymore. Next guy up, and that, like I said, is Afonso. But other than that, I'm not surprised just because he wasn't used. But other than that, I wish him the best, and he really was such a great player for Inter Miami. He's going to go up there with some of the greats, like Campana, that unfortunately left as well, and other players, and I think he'll do good. We have a lot of players that maybe don't get a lot of playing time here at Inter Miami that can be starters at other teams. So I'm sure that he'll get a lot of minutes wherever he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, to kind of bounce off a little bit, because I mean, you essentially said everything. This is just purely a business move, which makes 100% sense. In my opinion, Robert Taylor, it was like the clock was running out, like with Robert Taylor's time at Inter Miami, unfortunately, because he became such a fan favorite, especially in that 2023 campaign.
The Leagues
Cup campaign, playing, I think he had like 7 goal contributions in the 7 games or something. So like, I think it was like 4 goals, 3 assists or something. So he was doing really well, quickly became a fan favorite. And he would carry when Messi was injured. Like it would be him and Campana and whoever else, like Matias Rojas at the time. So it sucks. But like at the end of the day, it's the right move because he wasn't just going to get minutes. And honestly, with all due respect to Robin Taylor, at this point with the team currently, it's not going to improve the team. But with the other point that you said, like now we don't have any more attacking players or like any kind of players that could properly play in those positions. Like now we have only Papa and Tadeo Ashende and maybe Benja Kremaski, and then like Gressel, his future's up in the air. Other players don't really get much playing time outside of the 3 that I just said. So now it puts a little bit everything into question, which kind of makes us think, or makes me think at least, we're going to probably rely more on the defense now that we're essentially selling these players, that, or we're going to use all his money in the international slot to bring some other superstar attacking forward or winger or whatever.
But none of those guys you mentioned, Matt, I think have like a Robert Taylor skill set, if I'm not mistaken. Like all of them play more like centrally than outside, really. So I think
I'm just saying the players that can play in that position. I'm not saying like how they play against or compared to Robert Taylor, but I'm saying just like depth wise, like speaking just in strictly terms of depth, like it leaves us very, very limited with those options. And let alone how he plays.
We do have a someone who can play on the right wing back, forward role, and his name's Messi. If worse comes to worse, I mean, I'd say we have someone who could fill that slot. But yeah, I think what it tells me is that Fafa is meant to have is going to be tasked with, I think, a pretty big role, because it's I think what we're going to see is Segovia, Allende, and Suarez start. But then, we're gonna have Fafa, who I think does bring that speed in terms of the skill set, the dribbling and things like that. I don't know exactly if he's at the same level of Robert Taylor, but I would say, and this isn't an anti-Robert Taylor, because we all love him and he did so much for the club. He's really great.
Absolutely.
But I would say in the last, 6 months to a year, yeah, he could do the dribbling and stuff, but it wasn't leading to goal scoring opportunities or assists. And so I would rather at this moment in time have someone like Fafa who can stretch the defense, make those runs, and just get a ball in, and then you trust that you have a Suarez, you have Messi, you have Allende, you can have Kremaski, you can have any of those players finish it. And I mean, we have Obando, who's now a part of the team, who may get some minutes. I mean, we saw even I would say a few times where they had Suarez on the left, right? And so you may see where both of them were playing. So yeah, it's wish Robert Taylor nothing but the best. I think we'll move on to figuring out this preview in the lineup, but he'll be missed. Wish him nothing but the best.
Will be.
And we'll see if those people like Fafa, and probably Kremaski, to your point, will probably get, you'll have in your midfield the legs of, I think, Redondo, Bright, etc. And Kremaski will be looked at more as that forward player. We'll see how it all comes out. One final note on that. Inter Miami have been stacking up their GAM, their general allocation money. Is it going to turn into something in this summer window? I don't know. Are we going to see someone like a Kevin De Bruyne or a Neymar come? I don't know. I think that's for another episode for us to figure out. But I will say the money's stacking, and
something's going to happen.
Roster moves are stacking.
That episode's going to be fun to do.
That episode,
something's going to happen.
We'll see. But so to this game, with the players who are available, I'm going to get to some of the comments because I know we've been sort of chatting it up. We need to expose the young fullbacks. I see Jordy having a big game. Obviously, what I would say about this Vancouver team, and then I'll let you guys kind of give your thoughts. If you have Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Alba, even if maybe Suarez isn't in best form or et cetera, or, tired, doesn't matter. Those are champions. Those are the greatest in the world. And when you put them in a semifinal, I wouldn't bet against them. Doesn't matter who else is around. Doesn't matter the circumstance. I wouldn't bet against them. So I'll just say that.
I think they're definitely going to need Jordi Alba in this one. They're going to need players that play out wide. I was looking at that game that they just played right now, Vancouver against Pumas.
Pumas.
And yeah, man, that's how I know that Pumas obviously didn't pass, and it was Vancouver on away goals on aggregate, but Pumas was able to generate a lot of chances, and mostly from playing out wide, from playing centers into the area, from playing through balls, that's probably what Inter Miami is going to have to do. I feel like Vancouver is going to do the same thing that other teams have done to Inter Miami and just try to clog up the middle and give them the outside spaces. So I think that we see a game where we see that typical traditional play that we've seen where Messi connects with Jordi Alba on the outside. I think we're going to have to see a lot more dynamic play where you've got players overlapping each other on the outside. We'll have to see how that kind of pans out. Kremaski, players that play more on the outside. Maybe Tadeo Allende is going to have a few more chances again to just be have the ball on the outside and take it in. So yeah, I gotta agree. I think you're gonna have guys on the outside like Jordi Alba that are gonna be key players in this game. Yeah.
Well, let's go through who we think the best 11 is going to be. Who do we think is going to start? Or maybe the best 11 isn't going to be the starting 11. Maybe, who knows what Mascherano is cooking. But let's start with goalkeeper. Ustari, right?
Has to be. Yep.
I will say though, there was a time period a few weeks ago where I thought, oh, is he maybe, especially in that first LAFC game, is he maybe losing his spot? Is he playing himself out of the spot? Looking a little stagnant, dealing with the injury, and Drake back to health. But that
is the one thing that worries me is like he keeps grabbing whatever he grabs, the hammy, or I don't know if it's I think it's the hammy. I think he gets like those hammy pulls.
Well, he is like what, 40, 39. He's like
something like. But that's the only thing that concerns me. But other than that, like he's our keeper. He's our starter through and through. So I just hope it doesn't really turn into anything crazy, anything serious.
Agreed. Okay, this already. I mean, it seems like it's obvious, but the back four, there are. I think there are some definites. I think the definites obviously is Jordi Alba.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Maxi Falcon. And honestly, probably Noah Allen. I don't think Noah Allen's done anything to take himself out of that starting lineup. But right back, Cello seems to have gotten the favor now that he's back from injury over Ian Frey. Goods and bads to that. But do we expect that to be the back four? Do we think any changes from that?
I think for me personally, I think Cello 1000%. So honestly, I think the only person or the only player that would be up in the air would be Noah Allen, unfortunately, because I think he deserves a start more than anybody. But I think obviously Jordi is going to start. I think Maxi's definitely going to start. I think Cello's going to start because he's been doing really, really well, in my opinion, as like the biggest Cello hater, as you guys remember, as I once was. Now,
talk about
not so
this, so
much.
we'll get in
That's not
trouble.
applying today. So that's not applying any as of late. He's been doing very, very well at that right back position, getting forward, transitioning, spreading out, getting wide, supplying crosses, etc. Um, but I think, I mean, I'm hoping that Noah plays because he really does a great job at covering Jordi Alba, like the space that Jordi Alba leaves behind when Jordi gets up and really controls that left flank or the left wing. Noah Allen's there, and then he's able to recover so well and give time for Jordi to come back. And so I really hope so. But I think that is going to be hopefully the established back four.
Who do you think is faster, Ian Frey or Chelo? Like speed wise, like if you had to fix, because I'm just going back to that LAFC game and him having that matchup, just getting burned all game long, all game long by Bonga, right?
Ian Frey, we're talking, or Chelo?
No, Chelo.
But you can't. But the thing is, I think it's unfair to make that battle because Boanga's a quick player. Like he's a very fast player. So like saying, oh, like Chelo lost battles to Boanga, it's like, well, yeah, he's gonna lose. Like Ian Frey was gonna lose the battles to Boanga. Like anybody was gonna lose.
I think Chelo's faster, but I think Ian Frey is a better player.
That was the reason for my question. Is I'm asking you because we saw him get burned, and you're right. Probably others would also get burned just because of the speed that Boanga brings. So that's why I was posing the question. Like, do you think that Ian Frey would have a better time defending somebody with speed on that flank, or is that just you don't really think so? Like either way, they're both would have had a hard time, like regardless.
I think they probably would have both had a hard time. I mean, I think we're all, we're Ian Frey, like cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But I think Chelo, since being back from injury, has honestly done very well, and credit to him because it's been, he obviously knows how people feel about Ian Frey, and he knows he also has been, his performances have been questioned. So I think it's a good problem to have when you have those things. I would choose, like, if you ask me, like, who is my best, I would choose Ian Frey. But right now, I don't think Chelo has done anything in the last few matches to take him out. And that's what we like about Mascherano, though, is that he plays people who keep earning their spot, right? If you play well, he's not going to punish you for it. If you play poorly, he's ready to sub you.
I don't think that your merit for staying on the pitch is because you haven't done anything wrong. I think the merit for being on the pitch is for what you bring. And I feel like Ian Frey brings more to the pitch and to the game from strategy, from IQ, especially from attack as well, than what Chelo brings. Again, I'm not saying that Chelo deserves to be out. I just think Ian Frey deserves it, especially when you talk about how, on attack, we just haven't done that well. And sometimes I feel like we need more options. I feel like Ian Frey, we've seen him just be more, I think, be more productive on that end. So that would be my only argument to why I would see Ian Frey. I'm not pointing at anything in regards to Chelo did this, Chelo did that. He's, I just think that Ian Frey kind of deserves it more.
One question on that. Do you think Ian Frey would have provided more attacking support on the width?
I think that
I personally don't think so.
Here's a tough part. The tough part is Mascherano, from what I've noticed, and maybe this goes more towards why Chelo has had more playing time as of late than Ian Frey. What he does more now than what Tata did is Tata would have Jordi Alba and Chelo both go up. And we noticed that many times that would leave spaces in behind, right? And I think it was just more along the lines, okay, if you're going to play up top, maybe there just wasn't a good enough balance where maybe if Jordi Alba was up, that's fine that Chelo was up, but maybe just not high as up. Because after that, we'd get killed on a counter if we lost the ball right away. So I think what we've seen now with Mascherano is sometimes it looks more like we have three center backs at times where it's Jordi Alba goes and is basically a midfielder. And then you have Noah, Allen, Falcon, and Chelo look more like three center backs. And he's not really using that right flank, I think, to attack as much as maybe Tata was. So if we used Ian Frey, I think he would bring more an attack. But now that you're bringing that up, I think that maybe because of what Mascherano is doing, we wouldn't see that attacking side from Ian Frey as much as maybe we would have in the past. So maybe I think that's why maybe he's leaning more towards Chelo, because he's not using Chelo to attack. If he was using that right side to attack more, I think Ian Frey brings more. I think we've seen it. He's been able to score headers. He's been able to. He's a guy that can take one or two people. We've seen it. Maybe he doesn't have the speed, but he has the footwork to do it. I've seen that. Chelo, I feel like, doesn't bring that part as much as we've hoped he did, but he hasn't. But
he did give that assist though to Kremaski over the weekend. I mean, he put a great ball in that, but that was also, I think, an outstanding finish from Kremaski. Like a diving header is no.
Yeah, but I also wish we saw more of that too, because I've been one of the biggest critics of Benja, and Benja scored a beautiful goal, and I was happy for him and everything. But that doesn't change that Benja hasn't been the best for us up top. In my position, like one game doesn't change everything. I hope that one game leads to like they're able to progress and build momentum for Kremaski, because I think that he has done a lot for us, especially in the past. I think he's kind of like in a downer in his game, but these are the type of moments I think that players need to be able to get better and progress. And I'm hoping that for Kremaski. But like just talking about Kremaski and Chelo, I feel like there are other players that I think I would want to see in their spot, especially in a high level game like this. And we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. One, first of all, over 250 people watching right now. So shout out to you guys. I think everyone's excited and ready for this game and is at the edge of their seat. We'll move on from the defense now, because I think, there's arguments for both. I think we agree that we would choose Ian Frey, but if Mascherano is going based off of form and based off of recent play, then if Chelo starts, I'm not going to say, when it's all said and done, the reason Inter Miami lost and it ruined everything is because he played Chelo. I don't think so. Time will tell. But we'll
the
see.
Disagreement on Matt's face is awesome. I don't know if Matt's disagreeing.
I'm not disagreeing with anybody. Nobody here is wrong. Everybody, like, these are all. I'm so serious. Like, these are all like very, very valid, and like, there's just no right answer to it until we see it on the field. I just want to see it happen. I just want to see it.
You can't have Ian Frey play every minute, because from his injury history and all those things, like there's no world where Ian Frey can play every minute. I think we'd still want him in the big games, but we'll wait and see. Really quick before we move on to the defense and we move to the midfield, any reason or thoughts, and you can just give a really quick yes or no of Lujan or Tomas Aviles getting the start or getting any
in
minutes?
The midfield.
You see that? No, in the defense. And saying in their world where it's only a short time ago, but remember Aviles was part of that starting back line game in and game out. Do we see that happening for either of those players?
Too big a game for Aviles in my eyes.
I thought you said midfield because we saw Aviles play CDM like last time. So I'm like,
we did, and you never know.
and actually, it was funny that he ended up playing that, because I remember early on, Matt, and I don't know if this ever crossed your mind, but I remember having conversations early on when he first came on that he could play CDM. Like there was that conversation was floated a few times, so it was interesting to finally see him there. But for me, Aviles, this game is a little too big for him. I know that obviously he's gone a good amount of games now without seeing a yellow and without seeing a red, and that's good. I love it.
He's not playing.
Well, but the games that he's played, he's stayed on the field. But right now, biggest game in Inter Miami history, you got to go with the guys that you can depend on the most, that you can depend on from a playing skill set as well as actually staying on the field. And right now, to me, it's Noah and Falcon.
Agreed. Okay, midfield. I'll say it. You tell me if you disagree or agree. It's Bright, Redondo, and Messi. Do we see any deviation from that?
I would hope not. I would really hope that's the best midfield like that's ever gonna get at this point in time. Like that's our best midfielder with Bright and Boosie.
Boosie. I'm sorry. What did I say? I said Bright Redondo. I meant.
Oh, did you say Redondo? You see, like I was already thinking Boosie. Like
I meant Boosie. Sorry, that's my fault. Yeah.
I didn't say anything because I thought for a second, did I miss a suspension or something?
I honestly didn't notice.
Busquets and I said Redondo. Maybe
I honestly didn't notice.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Matt take this one.
No. You guys already know how I feel about that. No, Boosie and Bright have been great. Like I think Bright's connections and chemistry with the Busquets and with Jordi and that in those areas have been phenomenal, and I think he's been running that midfield very well. He's an absolute monster, and he makes those tackles. He gets aggressive. He presses. He's just
He's a
everywhere.
monster.
He's everywhere, and we need somebody like him tonight. I hope Messi can. I don't know how deep. I mean, Messi's kind of plays all over the place, right? So you can't really put a position on him, but
I think it's been, in terms of the starting lineup, they've been having him as like, the number 10 role, because you
Right.
do see a front line of Allende and Segovia along with
right.
Suarez. So I say Messi is the midfield. Obviously, I think he
I'm
plays
trying
more
to
up,
think
but
ahead because no, you're right, because Messi plays deep, and even if it's not the 10, he'll drop right next to Boosie if he has to at times. So I'm trying to think ahead of like, okay, so if Messi's dropping deep, who's gonna be playing forward and making those runs up with Suarez and Dade or whoever? But no, like those are 100%
I need to address
gonna
this.
be
I'm not choosing Redondo over Busquets. I need to make that very clear. It was a clerical error.
Messi's basically like the offensive midfielder is what he's playing. He's playing in between the top three basically on offense. But I just want to see Boosie be more, see him more involved in the attack. I think that a lot of times he ends up being more deep than Redondo, or more deep than I just had a brain fart.
Right.
Than Bright, like deeper than Bright, and I think it needs to be reversed, because what ends up happening there is a lot of times it's Redondo or Bright, whoever's next to him, that ends up having the ball after we recover, and they're the ones that have to figure out the next play and be like the anchor for whatever's happening up front, passing the ball and that sort of thing. When that's Bousie's strong suit. Like I was watching some Barca highlights over the weekend and just seeing a lot of like Boosie. It's insane how he would be the one, like Pedri now, for example. Like he'd get the ball and he'd be the one to put in the pass and start the play.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what I'm seeing now is him being so deep that he's not really involved in that. He just recovers the ball, and then it's somebody else getting the ball either to Messi or to somebody else. And it's just, we need that from Boosie. It's so important. And I think that that's going to open up our offense. So if I could have one ask in the midfield, it's that. And Messi is positionless. Messi will be anywhere he needs to be on the pitch. But he's basically our offensive midfielder, whether it be on the right, on the left, in the middle. He's everywhere he needs to be. I feel like there's a commercial. I feel like there's a commercial.
Priceless. I think you're thinking of MasterCard Priceless.
Something, yeah, I don't know, but it sounded like I read a commercial. He's everywhere he needs to be, or something. Like I don't know, but yeah. So I got to agree with that midfield.
I wonder, do we see a world where, like, Kremaski gets a nod over any of those players to be more forward? I don't think so, but just posing the question, I guess that kind of transitions me into the front three, because I feel like it's Suarez, Allende, and Segovia. But is there a world where, Segovia, I think, has had a little bit of a dip in form recently? He's very young and he had such a rocket start to the year. Do you see a time where maybe Kremasi plays in front of Segovia? I'm just posing things. Do we see where Fafa plays instead, or do we think that front three is going to stay what we kind of see as, that consistent front three? Also, over 300 people watching now. Come on, keep it up. We love it.
No, I need to hear what the people also think about this too, because it's very difficult. This is a very difficult situation, because it's clear that Mascherano has faith in Kremaki, right? So he wants Kremaki either to play more centrally, maybe as like an 8 or maybe a 10, like another 10. So it's like, well, is he gonna get those minutes tonight? Then we look at Fafa, where it's like, okay, we can really stretch out the pitch with Fafa, but it's like, have we been doing that in the last couple of games? Not necessarily.
No.
We'd completely ignore Fafa if he plays on the field. Tadeo Allende, I think he always has a good game, a decent game. He cuts in, he tries to be that offensive threat, and Suarez trying to hold up play, be the deep line forward that he is. So. And Velasco is a huge question mark, like you said. Like, he's been very inconsistent, and probably underwhelming in these last couple of games. And we really missed that Velasco spark, I guess, like when he first joined, where he was kind of like on fire.
Does that remind you of like Matias Rojas? Matt? Like kind of the whole Matias Rojas situation.
Yeah,
He came in and he was
that's a
like,
good.
"Oh crap!" Like,
That's
and
a
then out of
great
nowhere,
Remember that
comparison,
Matias
actually.
Rojas banger he had in, what was it,
That's a
Toronto?
great comparison. I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that it definitely. Yes, like exactly like that. So I mean, maybe. Hopefully, he doesn't have the Matias Rojas curse, because there were a lot of times where Matias Rojas would just be like, he would go ghost, and
Yeah.
we just wouldn't see from him. But I don't know. What do you think?
It's the same, but it's to me, it's identical to the Matias Rojas thing because Matias
I
Rojas
never
came
put
in,
two and
he
two
scored,
together. That's a
he
great
scored some
comparison.
bangers for us, and we were like, "Bro, we have a freaking like a diamond here." I'm
Yeah.
not saying we didn't, but I'm saying just like in
No,
that
yeah.
moment, it was like, and then the same thing with Telasco. Telasco came in, he scored, he had some bangers, and it was like, "Oh damn, we got Telasco." And then and they were both supposed to be the replacement for Messi when Messi wasn't on the pitch. Matias Rojas was supposed to be the guy that was the creator if
Yeah,
Messi wasn't there.
essentially.
Velasco, same thing. He's supposed to be the creator of Messi. So I think that those are very identical things. But I think that with Velasco, I hate to say this, but I feel like some of these players maybe not looking as good as they did early on is a product of the game plan, kind of. And I think and not being able to react from a strategy standpoint to what the opponent is doing, because a lot of these players like they operated down the middle channels. They're not players that play out wide, and something happened along the lines, like I don't know if I was after the third or fourth game, like people figured out Inter Miami, opponents figured out Inter Miami, figured out if they played narrow, Inter Miami, and had their defense in the midfield very compact, close those spaces in between, Inter Miami had a lot of trouble. And I think we haven't adjusted, and the players that play down the middle, like Delasco, have had difficulty because of our opponents. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
It may also be, just him maybe not being up to what he was playing like before, but I feel like it has something to do with that. But when we talk about Kremaski, to me, Kremaski is a situational player right now, still early on in his career, where if he's on the pitch, to me, it needs to be because something on the pitch is asked of him. So it could be 60th, 70th minute. You need someone else in attack. Perfect. You can put in Kremaski. Or 60th, 70th, 75th, 80th minute. You're winning. You want more control in the center of the midfield. You take out Tadeo Allende and you put in another central midfielder that can hold the midfield down, close the spaces. To me, that's more of Kremaski's game right now, early on in his career, as he develops, gets more playing time, and continues to get better. I think that could switch, but I don't see a world right now where he should be a starter over guys like Telasco, Allende, or anybody else. Even Telasco, who again we can say maybe his level has gone down a little bit for whatever reason. I still think that it's not time for Kremaski to be in that role.
Yeah, but I mean, is there something to say like you get rewarded when you score a great goal, you get to play? That's a question. It's coaches. Every coach is different. Some coaches ride the quote unquote hot hand. Some coaches have it picked out far in advance.
I wouldn't call one goal a hot hand though. Ferran Torres in Barcelona goes on as a sub every time, and every time he goes in, he scores, and it's Lewandowski who gets to start. Like,
right.
I mean,
True enough. I mean, I would choose Segovia as well, but there's what a good problem to have, like we said, is that we can see a situation where there's multiple players. I mean, we have our choices who we think deserve it, who we think are the best opportunity to win. But right now, I mean, I know you said some people have figured out Inter Miami, and obviously the offense has gotten a little stagnant, but our record is still one of the best in MLS, and we're in a semifinal. They're still figuring out ways to win or draw or do what they need to do to get results. And so
do you guys figure
it out only to a point.
I'm curious about that. Do you guys feel the same? Do you think like Inter Miami has dropped its level a bit in attack, maybe, or is it also part that we've been figured out? I feel like, in a sense, we've been figured out because I see the same defensive strategies and these games that we're being.
But has anyone ever figured out Messi? I don't think figured out what to do with them for a very long time. It's just about, I think, can the players play past it, and
yeah.
It's hard to do. It's difficult when you're playing in games where, to your point, they're doing the low block, or everyone is rooting against you, or it's difficult circumstances for sure. I think it's like a chicken versus the egg. Like, is it that Inter Miami's form is dipped, or is it that the defenses have figured out? I think both can be true, right? And until we have like a big loss or a big thing, I think it's hard to just say, oh, that the team has fallen down. Well, we'll have to see. It's gonna be a hell of a game tonight.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
We still have 3.5 hours, unfortunately.
Well, look, the plan. This is the plan. The plan is to eat dinner. You'll be full. You'll get the food coma. You'll take the nap, and then boom. Then you get some dessert. You get the sugar going, and then you'll be hyped up for the game.
What's the latest you're eating though?
What?
What's the latest you're eating though? Like what's an appropriate time to eat today? Given you have
dinner.
8 p.m.
This is what 350 people want to listen to.
Yeah. This is advice for 350 people.
So you eat at 8 p.m. Let's say you finish by 8:45. Are you having dessert or not? I think that's
no. So if you have dessert, it's gonna be for me. This is for me personally. I can't. I have to. I'll take about an hour to eat with my family. So we'll eat 8 to 9. Let's 9. We're done. I'm stuffed. I'm like, I'm gonna hit the couch. Hit the couch. 30 minutes. I'm out. And then when I wake up around 9:30, maybe 9:45, get the Haagen-Dazs. Not sponsored.
Dude, I don't like Haagen-Dazs.
To be honest,
no, you gotta get the Haagen-Dazs.
I like Dove. You know, like the Dove ice cream.
Oh, I know Dove. No,
it's just
Haagen-Dazs.
I feel like the Haagen-Dazs, the inside, the vanilla is hard. I feel like
you're talking about the bars.
Like the bars. Like when you have that bar.
He's talking about a pint. He's just going.
I'm talking about a pint. I have the little quartz thing.
Oh, you have that? No, I have the chocolate bars. The one that has the chocolate on the outside.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, I get the
pint. The stick.
Yeah,
is that why it's hard?
Of the ice cream on the inside is hard. It's like eating like I don't know, like when you're snowboarding or something and the ice is really hard, like that. The Dove one is like softer. But anyways, look, I'll let you know on the secret.
We have to experiment more with this than I think with the team with the starting 11. I think
that's a hell of a take. 9 p.m. cold brew. Good for you, Alex.
Before we leave this conversation about ice cream, I want to share how I eat my ice cream because the way I eat my ice cream bars is I eat the chocolate on the outside first.
No.
Yeah, like I just nibble at the chocolate and I leave the vanilla.
You're saying this in front of 300 people right now.
Pobrecito, oh my God, you're crazy.
No,
that's good though. I think that's because I love chocolate, so I get to enjoy the chocolate by itself.
Then you're stuck with the vanilla.
But you eat the shell. Like you eat the chocolate shell first, and
full shell, top to bottom.
Yeah, it's almost like you have two desserts. It's almost like eating two different desserts. So.
But you never have them at the same time. You never take a bite out of it.
Nah, because I think that's weird. I don't know. I never tried that. I don't think I could do that.
This is the real show right here. This is where the real.
By the way, I'm really gonna show like my. I don't want to say whiteness, but my dinner is at 7 p.m. You guys, I don't eat it like people eat at 8 or 9. Like I eat 7 p.m. consistently. Sometimes 6:30.
Oh wow, that's lunchtime. I think.
Dude,
no, I think I'm showing my my.
No, we eat late. We eat like 8 o'clock is like dinner time. Like it's late. It's late for me. I prefer to eat at 6, to be honest, or 7, because then it's like you don't feel as heavy going to bed. So I think it's appropriate tonight when we have a late game. I think it's.
So I guess like based off of our conversation, I think that if Messi Co could have an official recommendation, it would be to eat at 8 p.m. probably.
Yes.
By 8:45, 9. Take a 30 to 45 minute power nap. You wake up by 10, and if you want, you can have dessert. Obviously, and then you have the game, and then you're set. You should, with that power nap, you should be able to power through the entirety of the game.
1000%.
I think on a late night like this, like eating dessert at like 9:30, it's later than I normally would, but it'll give you the sugar rush in order to kind of like get into the game.
What time do you think Messi's eating?
It's a good question. Maybe we should talk more about that because this is a soccer podcast. It's a good transition. I think they probably all eat like 2 hours before the game.
This is game day we're talking about, like game day routine.
There's no way you can eat 2 hours before a game. Look, when I play soccer at 8 p.m., if I don't eat by like 4 or 5 p.m., at least 3 to 4 hours before, dude, I get onto the pitch and I am like full, like I cannot run. I think you got to eat like at least 4 hours.
I'd ask
before.
for the sub to use the bathroom. I'd be like, yo,
3 hours before
Like,
then?
At least minimum, at least 3 probably. 3. I mean,
Yeah,
but I
they
would say
need
probably 4.
energy. They need the energy to go like super
what do you
hard.
think the pregame meal is? Just a pasta, or like?
This has really gone off.
Probably pasta. I feel like a banana and one of those.
Because that's heavy. It's heavy. That's a lot. If you eat the pasta and you eat the banana and then you have a game 2 hours later, like you're not gonna.
I saw once an interview. Declan Rice said he eats like a piece of like fish and rice.
But how
He does
long
well.
before the game?
Well,
These are the
Let me
questions
call
we
an
need to
act.
be asking in the post game interview. We need to be asking. Okay, so you guys won. You guys won the game. Messi, you won the game. Mascherano, you guys won the game. So what was the pregame meal to help you in your victory today?
I think that's a really important question because we've been
that's the
asking about the actual game and like how do you I think that next time we need to ask the important questions. Like why have we been asking questions about the actual game when we could ask questions about all right, Ash, you will be the one to ask next game. You'll ask Mascherano about the pregame meals.
okay.
Because then if Messi scores a brace, we're gonna be like, okay, so what do we eat? So let's start eating this before every game now.
Yeah.
Let's start doing this.
Well, talking about Messi, what do we think? Like I think today Messi, I think he's gonna score at least one, but I think for this team, he needs to score at least 2. It's gonna be a tough game in Vancouver.
Well, it was interesting because after the game on Saturday at Columbus, there was I heard from Taylor Twellman on the US or not the US, the English broadcast. He's like, Messi hasn't moved much in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Could this be a potential injury or whatever? We talked about this offline, and I was just like, I think he's saving his energy. They're up 1 goal. The Inter Miami starts to do like a back 8 or a back 9 basically, and he's like, I have a big game on Thursday, so I'm not going to run anymore. I don't think it was injury. I guess we'll never know, but I think we're going to see. Heart of a champion, a good performance.
We have 6. Remember, I texted you guys. I was like, we have 6 defenders on the pitch right now. Like literally.
No, literally.
Like Luja, Gaviles, Noah, Alba. I think even Christoph came back just to get on the pitch that game. Like it was.
AKA yeah. Came back.
We had literally 6 defenders on the pitch, and it was pretty wild. But I wasn't concerned about Messi. I never ended up seeing like him laboring or anything like that. I thought that he seemed.
He would have come off like if knowing this game on Thursday, like he would have come off. I didn't think for a second. But you never know.
For this game, look, I think that it's most important. Like not usually when you play away in these games, like I think a good result is you at least leaving with 1 point. But here against this Vancouver team, I'm not so sure that I would be okay with just the tie because of what I've seen them do or what we've seen them do away. They're a good away team. They can literally go into like there's no home field advantage for us, I feel like, with how Vancouver is played. They went into Mexico City, they went into Monterrey and scored 2 goals. So I would want to see them go in and not just try to come out with a tie. Just make sure they come in with a good win.
Aggressive, yeah.
Let me come at you with this then, because what I'm worried about, or I guess worried about is how we played against Columbus, right? We were up 1-0, and then for the entirety of the second half, it was park the bus. We parked the entire shuttle bus.
Yeah. Basically.
And so now it's like, okay, we're up 1-0
but that wasn't
against
a
Vancouver.
Semifinal. That wasn't a semifinal. I think that it's different games, different stakes. Like,
but that's what I'm thinking. But it's still an away game, and you have an away goal, and now you have that advantage. So for that, I don't know. So it's like, are we gonna, if we're up 1-0, are we gonna park the bus for the next 45 minutes?
Maybe.
Nah, man. No. I am not taking a nap.
Man.
I am not taking a power nap to watch 45 minutes.
I'm not saying I would. I'm saying Mascherano.
That is suicide.
Maybe not park the bus, but maybe a version of being conservative. If we score first, we'll have to wait and see. But again, this isn't round of 16. This isn't match day 8 of 38 for the MLS. This is where we're one away match away from hosting a final, right? Like, we obviously have a second leg in Miami on Wednesday. The second leg of that LA FC match was so amazing. Gian and I mean, that press box was thumping. Everyone, even though LAFC scored first, man, the energy was insane.
It was so crazy that somebody actually got locked in the bathroom. That was insane.
Someone did, but I don't know why. Like they scored first, we were like, I don't think it's over, and it wasn't. And so, Inter Miami, I think they're going to play for a result where they can feel comfortable going and playing. Obviously, the second leg at home, and then if they win, they host the final, right? So no matter who the opponent is, they host the final at Chase Stadium. So the stakes are important, compared to all the rest of the matches we've had thus far.
Do we see 10 or 15 minutes of Obando today, you think?
I think it'll be very circumstantial. I mean, knowing you can't sub in a Robert Taylor.
That's a very Gressel,
answer. I don't think, obviously, Gressel didn't travel.
I think
Gressel didn't travel.
It's done already. They just haven't announced it yet, and they just have to get it.
Too. Fafa, it's a homecoming, obviously, played for Vancouver. Obando, I don't know. I think it'll be very circumstantial. If we're down 2 goals,
this is another reason why we could park the bus for 45 minutes, because with the win today, we can host the final. I'm just saying.
That's agreed. Like I don't like.
So it's like I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I don't want it to. But it's like, are we gonna see this again?
So is it tie? No, park the bus. Winning by at least a goal, park the bus. Is that what it is?
I think a tie in the 70th minute, you may see some parking the bus in the last 20 minutes. I don't think if it's tied at halftime.
I don't think you're safe with a tie. That's the thing. I don't think you're not against this Vancouver team. I don't think you're safe with a tie.
Because there's no way Vancouver comes in the second leg and not score.
There's a chance that they score at least 2 goals on us.
We have Messi. We have Messi. We have Messi.
I know we have Messi, but we
still. Now brings up the point that we're playing on turf too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's another factor. Shout out to Ace Lionel.
We are playing on turf.
So it's a lot. This is how excited we are. We're just coming up with scenarios. We're thinking about different possibilities. This is like Doctor Strange in that one scene in the Avengers Endgame, where he comes up with 4 million possibilities.
Strange. It's Marvel, right?
Huh? You never seen Avengers Endgame, where it's the guy with the cape? Oh my god,
dude! I never watched Marvel.
Cumberbatch.
Yes,
yeah, that guy. I never watched Marvel. My wife was big into it, and I think it was 2022, 2023. She made me sit down. I think I took a week off from work, and she made me sit down and watch the entire Marvel series in 1 week.
Valid.
That was wild. What
was the excuse to work or to not work? We were just like, hey, I'm going to be taking off work.
I have to watch Avengers.
I have to watch the Avengers. I have to be cultured.
I think I can't remember what excuse I made, but I know that it was valid. I may have presented a doctor's note.
Okay. I'm setting the stage.
That may or may not have been legitimate.
Well, during COVID, so maybe you used it as an excuse.
It may have been in that. Hey, look, COVID, crazy times, huh? A lot of things happen. Some of us, some of us did some things. Some of us watched and
no comment.
Watched Avengers in 1 week, or the Marvel movie.
I've done that with Harry Potter, where I've watched it all in a week.
I got to the second movie of Harry Potter, and I haven't watched more. My wife is also trying to make me.
Harry Potter is it's like the greatest.
We'll do a live watch along in the next live episode.
What's the game they play? Quidditch. What is
we'll do a Quidditch analysis.
Quidditch? Is it
Quidditch? Yep. Yeah.
Quidditch. Okay. I mean, is there?
Harry Potter's the best. I love. Oh my god. Okay. Well, we have gone on.
Wait. We have to do score predictions before we
start.
Hold on.
Everyone in the comment is saying, please go back to talking about. Please talk about soccer.
Is Messi starting? I think Messi's 100% starting. Mascherano said that he won't talk about who's starting or who's not because he doesn't want to tell the opponent. And I'm like,
makes sense.
I agree. Semi-final would be very hard not to start him.
Yeah, no, he's definitely starting. Okay, so what did you want to do? The predictions?
Well, yeah, everybody in the chat right now. How many people we got?
383 people watching.
Ooh, almost 400 people. We need everybody in the comments right now to put their score predictions.
And scores. Only from Inter Miami. You don't have to say who scores from the Vancouver team.
Yeah, we don't have to. We don't need specifics. Just the scoreline.
Okay, so Gian, start us off.
All right, my score prediction is going to be that this game is going to be a tie game. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think that
2-2. I don't know if I can handle 4 goals.
I think Messi's going to score, and I think that Suarez is finally one of Suarez's shots on goal is finally going to go in, because he had a few good ones last game, I believe it was. He had some good shots. So I think that Suarez and Messi score. And I think it's 2-2. I think that I know you said not to include this, but I'm just going to say it. I think Brian White scores one for Vancouver. He has 4 goals for them so far in Champions Cup.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go with the other score just because I'm Ecuadorian and he's one of the best players on their team, Pedro Vite, Ecuadoriano. I think he's going to score for them. He's a really good player, which brings me to those are the 2 players I think to watch for Vancouver that we want to keep an eye on, and Inter Miami needs to focus on: Pedro Vite and Brian White. So 2-2.
Okay, this would be a great scoreline, 2-0 if we got this one. But we're getting some big ones. Matt, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
I'll go because I agree with Gian on the sense that I think it would be a tie, but I'm predicting a 1-1 tie. I don't know how much our offense is going to show up today, especially away from home in a first leg, because I keep thinking back to all the times that we did play in a first leg and didn't really play poorly, specifically the LAFC game, where we just lost 1-0. So it's like, okay, maybe I'm trying to predict something similar happening tonight, but maybe we can sneak in an away goal, which I think would help us massively. And then if we score first, we're just gonna park the bus.
I was gonna say,
we're just gonna park.
Let's hear it.
We're just gonna park the bus. What do you think?
All right, who's scoring the goals?
Who's scoring the goals? I think
you don't have to say Vancouver if you don't want to. You can just say
I'll guess Vancouver. I'll agree with Gian, and I'll think. Actually, no, I'm gonna throw like a. It's not really a wild card, but I'll throw like somebody like it's either gonna be like Berhalter or like
Greg Berhalter's son. Just what I need as a U.S. men's national team.
It's gonna be him or like what's that guy's name? Like Ali.
He scored against
Ahmed or something,
if I'm not mistaken.
Was it him? I was trying to think if it was him or like
he doesn't normally score, so it is a wild card.
I think it's gonna. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's gonna be like something out of the.
I think he has one
out of the ordinary,
like that. But yeah,
I think he'll score anything for us. I think, I'm gonna say like Tadeo Allende.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with first of all, not a very cynical comment, but cynical too. We're gonna show up today. We've been holding back. Period. I agree with that. I think we are gonna show up today, and I think we're gonna win. Just like Chip said, just like Black Story said, I think we're winning 2-1. I think that this Inter Miami team is a team of destiny, and we are going. Messi, after that LAFC performance, they're going for silverware. They're going for this. They're making a statement. They're saying, we are the best team in MLS, and I'm Lionel Messi, and I win things. And you know what? That's what I want to see. And so I'll say Vancouver, they score a goal. I'm gonna just say Brian White because that's like taking odds on gambling. I'll bet on the good horse. For Inter Miami, Messi's gonna score, and then ready.
I think
Maxi Falcon is gonna score a header.
Oh,
Maxi.
He's gonna score a header off of a corner.
Off of a corner, sheesh.
Or he's gonna get the follow through where they
I want to see
the ball
him score
goes
like a
deep and then
25-yard
they head it in
banger.
the box, and then he gets the follow up, like a tap in.
Sure.
I think he's been playing and working so hard, and he's been so great and I think he's had a few close chances actually. And if
you say that, if we do the set piece thing, if we do set pieces right tonight, we can easily get a goal off of it. And
that's where Vancouver
could be that guy.
That's where Vancouver suffers. Set
Olympico,
pieces,
maybe Messi Olympico. Never, no better time than the present.
I'm gonna be sitting there with my Haagen-Dazs.
Nah, bro.
Just waiting for it to happen.
No,
I love
you know what I have sitting in the freezer right now? Actually, Snickers ice cream. That's actually really good. I don't know if you ever tried
Oh,
it.
those are good.
That one I do
Trying
eat
to
cold
be
though.
healthy,
I
so
don't
I'm not
eat the
gonna-
outside on that one. That one is I have a different strategy, different game plan for that one. That one I
Well, you gotta be careful when you're eating that. You gotta be careful when no one's watching you when you eat those. They got a funny shake, so you gotta be careful with that.
Wait, what? Never mind.
No, never mind. I'm not gonna say an ice cream that I'm gonna eat because I'm trying to be healthy. So, fruit.
Lame.
Yeah. Lame.
Imagine
Very
being
lame.
healthy. Oh,
Agreed.
no.
But you know what? Whatever. Inter Miami are
No.
gonna win.
If
we've been
Miami
doing
win,
this
you do
for an
have to eat
hour.
ice cream. If Inter Miami
If
win,
Inter Miami win, I have to eat ice cream.
you have to
Okay,
eat
I
ice
mean,
cream
How about
live
this? I have
episode.
No, I have a good idea. Okay, so
do I look like somebody who doesn't has
if
not?
Inter Miami wins, next episode we all come on with our favorite ice cream.
Okay.
Deal.
Love.
Okay.
But mine's I don't like ice cream bars. Like I like just like a scoop of ice cream.
Just bring a bowl of ice. We're just gonna, or just bring. I don't know.
All right.
Everybody in the chat too has to say their favorite ice cream in the next one.
Say in the next one, say your favorite one. Well, right now we have almost 400 people on this stream. It has been
I like this.
fun.
Everybody needs to eat their ice cream like me. If we went tonight, you eat the outside first, and then lick the inside.
That's crazy. No, that's like. By the way, that's like serial killer. Like that's crazy. That's really that is crazy. I've ever heard. I mean, sometimes like the top, you eat the chocolate first, but like to go around the whole entire thing and
that's gonna be a question I bring up. Like
getting the bottom pieces of the chocolate, like around the bottom of that part's the most difficult. I am proud to say I've mastered that. That is difficult, but anyway.
Perfect. Well,
I'm bringing that up when I meet new people. That's gonna be the icebreaker.
Yeah. Do you eat ice cream like a normal person, or are you a psychopath?
Wait. Actually, that's a good question. Sorry, I know that we're almost done, but I'd like to. Does anybody else eat their ice cream like me, or am I crazy? Like, does anybody eat the outside of their ice cream?
I think you're crazy.
Like if you have
tweet out a poll afterwards.
Sometimes people have like the cone where it's like, what's the brand? You know, the one where it's like the ones in the free
like drumsticks.
Drumstick. People eat the bottom first, like they eat the cone first.
They eat the cone first.
You know,
crazy. That's what you're doing, Gian. You're just doing it in a more like civilized manner.
I actually have a great idea. If you guys are watching, once we're done and the VOD is up, go in the comments and tag Haagen-Dazs and tag Dove. Maybe we can get sponsored by them.
Get some sponsors. Yeah, I was hoping for like Adidas or like.
Imagine that's like the what did you call it? The VD, the DVD. That could be our DVD story. One day we have a big studio, like crazy lighting, like the whole nine, and it all started because I talked about how I eat my ice cream, and everybody tagged Dove and Haagen-Dazs, and we got sponsored, and we got
honestly, let's do it from your lips to God's ear. I mean, I was hoping for like Adidas or MLS or Apple TV, but Haagen-Dazs works too.
Yes. No.
I love it. All right. Well, this has been super fun. We're a little over 3 hours away from kickoff. What a time to be an Inter Miami fan. Really excited. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your amazing comments and discussion. We loved it. And let us know in the comments if you haven't given it yet, your score prediction, who you think is going to score, and what you're hoping to see. So for this very special live edition of Messi Co, I'm Ashley. That is Gian. Our sponsor is Haagen-Dazs, and we will see you next time.
Boom, Miami.